Hi friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today is my first of a few lists of my favorites of 2025. And I thought I would just start out with my favorite movies of 2025. So I have five honorable mentions, and I have 10 of my 10 top 10 favorite movies, in no particular order with the exception of the top three. And the first honorable mention, I'm just going to get right into it with the honorable mentions. The first one is the one that we were not sure if we were going to get a physical release. It was on Apple TV. It's Brad Pitt in F1, and it's a Formula One racing movie, and I thought it was very good. I thought it was a lot of fun. I love the cinematography. I love the racing. I love these types of movies. And I know some people wrote that they thought that the storyline, the plot was thin. But, I mean, if you're going to watch a movie like this, you kind of know what you're going to get into. You kind of know what to expect. And this one definitely didn't disappoint. I thought it was really well done. It was fine for what it was. It's a fun popcorn Formula One racing movie. And Brad Pitt was great. And I just really enjoyed this one. And I'm so happy that it did get a physical release. So if you are a fan of racing or car movies, things like that, I think you're really going to enjoy F1. So if you haven't seen it, definitely give it a look. And the 4K looks really, really good. It also got a Steelbook release, so for people who are fans of Steelbooks. This next one, this came out of nowhere. I saw it, I read a little bit about it, I picked it up, and my friend Steve, who I do some live streams with, he said, watch that movie, you're really going to enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and he was not wrong. It stars Austin Butler, Regina King, Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith, Liv Schreiber, and Vincent D'Onofrio in Caught Stealing. And Austin Butler plays a guy who was a baseball star in high school. He sustained a career-ending injury, and now he is a bartender at a local bar. He's living in an apartment building, and the fella who has the apartment next to him says, hey, listen, I have to go back to the UK. Can you watch my cat while I'm gone? Gives him the keys. He's like, sure, I'll watch your cat. And he goes, but remember, the cat hates people, and that becomes a big deal in the movie later. So he's in his apartment, the cat's in his apartment, and he hears people going to the door trying to get into the apartment, and they do not sound like good people. Turns out they're not good people. They are gangsters, and they are looking for the fella who's gone back to the UK, and when they find out Austin Butler is taking care of the cat, they for some reason think that he knows more than he does, and they're holding him responsible for whatever it is that they're upset about with the guy who's taken off. And that's all I'm going to tell you. This is a lot of fun, a lot of action, a lot of running, a lot of fighting. And it's also got some really great dark comedy and great twists and turns. You'll never see certain things coming. I know this is one I am going to watch over and over again, and I know it's always going to be a lot of fun. So if you haven't seen Caught Stealing, put it on your list and give it a watch. You won't be disappointed. Now this next one, right on the front, it says the funniest film of the year. And I've heard a lot of people say that they think it's the funniest film of the year. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I really, really enjoyed it. I see it more as a dark comedy, dramedy type of thing, but it's definitely good, and it's called Splitsville. And it's about these two couples, and one of the couples has gone out for the day. They're on their way home. Husband thinks they had the best day, and the wife turns to him and says, I want a divorce. And he is just beside himself. So he goes and talks to their friends, and he's like, how do you guys do it? How do you keep it together? And they said, well, the truth is we have an open marriage, and maybe you want to think about that. So he floats the idea to his wife, and he's like, they have this open marriage. And what we do the rest of the film is we follow these two couples and these four people as they try to navigate marriage, relationships, open marriages, different arrangements, very unconventional ways of living your life and living in your relationship, and how it can make you happy, and the pitfalls and everything that comes between. And I just found this to be really entertaining, very good. Things happen that I didn't expect. Certain things maybe I expected, but it didn't happen the way I thought it would. But I had a really good time with this. And like I said, it's more of a dark comedy than a dramedy. There's not like a lot of laugh out loud moments. It feels more like something that would be like a real life movie, but it's told in a little bit of a comedic way. Splitsville is really, really a cool movie. Very good movie. So if you haven't seen it, put it on your list, check it out. You won't be disappointed. And this next one is the latest offering from Wes Anderson, and his last movie, Asteroid City, left me a little bit confused and unsure of where he was going. This movie, called The Phoenician Scheme, really brought back my faith in him as a filmmaker, because it felt like a return to form of old school Wes Anderson that I love. And it stars Benicio del Toro, Michael Cera, The Phoenician Scheme. And basically, Benicio del Toro plays a very rich man who wants to leave his estate and the control of his estate to his daughter, who happens to be a nun. So he has to meet up with his daughter, and he's trying to make the arrangements for his estate. And in the meantime, these assassins are trying to kill him throughout the movie, and he is trying to figure out who he can trust, who he can't trust, who's trying to kill him, why they're trying to kill him. And like I said, it is just a return to form, typical Wes Anderson. If you're a fan of his work, you kind of know what you're getting into with his movies, and this one is no different. It is fantastic. I loved every minute of this one, so can't wait to watch it again. Phoenician Scheme, high recommendation on that one. And then my last one, I don't have a physical copy of this one because it's not out yet. I think it comes out January 20th, but I did rent it over the weekend, and it's called One Battle After Another. I will link it up here. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, and I'm kind of like this with him, but I really did like him in this movie. Basically, when the movie starts out, he is dating this woman, and they're involved with this group of revolutionaries, and they're kind of rising up against the governments and the government and the powers that be, and they're doing all kinds of things. Like, he sets off bombs, explosives, all kinds of things, and exactly what you'd expect from revolutionaries. And at one point, he gets her pregnant, and they have this child, and he's ready to settle down and just be a family man, and she wants to continue doing what they're doing. And they kind of end up going their separate ways. They get separated for reasons that I'm not going to get into because it's spoilers. And we fast forward 16 years, and he has continued to raise this child who's now a young woman. And he finds out that these people, including Sean Penn, who is awesome in this movie. Sean Penn is great in this movie. The powers that be are still looking for him and the young woman who was the baby, because of things that went on with the mother, who is now out of the picture. And that's all I can say about it, because I don't want to give anything away, because it's a really cool movie. Very interesting. There's twists and turns. Again, there's a lot of action. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of surprises, I'll say. There's also a lot of politics, but it's presented in a way that it's not heavy-handed. It's just there, and it's done in a very comedic way, like dark comedy. But really, really good stuff. And like I said, Sean Penn's fantastic. Leonardo DiCaprio's good. The whole cast is good. And the story feels really relevant in places. So just go into it to have a good time, and I think you'll really enjoy that one too. So that's my last honorable mention, and now we're going to move on to the top 10. Okay, so now we're at the top 10, and I've talked about most of these before, so I'm going to keep my commentary brief. And again, they are in no particular order with the exception of the top 3. And on any given day, the top 3 could change, but we'll see what happens. Now, if you had told me at the beginning of the year that this was going to be on my list for top 10, I would have told you were crazy, but here it is. Final Destination Bloodlines. I had really given up on the Final Destination franchise because it started to feel stale and old, repetitive, predictable. And then I started to hear how great this one was, and people were not wrong. I feel like, again, this is a return to form. It brings back everything that made us really love the first few movies, if you're a Final Destination fan. I feel like the storyline is great, the acting is fun, the characters are fun, the kills are great, the cinematography is cool. Everything about this movie is just fun and cool, and it's exactly what you would expect from a Final Destination movie. And one of my favorite things about this, and it had to be on my list, was that Tony Todd is in this. And how do you have a horror movie with Tony Todd in it and not have it be on your top 10 list? I had to have it on here. And this made me go back, and I'm now rewatching the entire franchise from the beginning. So it did its job, and Final Destination Bloodlines, definitely one. If you're a fan of the franchise, definitely check it out. You won't be disappointed with this one. And this next one I have talked about in a recent video. I think it was my last haul video, but this is one of 2 Stephen King adaptations that are on my list. And this one is The Long Walk. And this is like a dystopian sci-fi thriller type of thing. We have these young men who sign up for this walk. And I forget how old they seem like they're like older teenagers, like maybe 17, 18 years old. They sign up for this yearly walk that goes on, and there can only be one winner. The thing with the walk is that they have to keep going at 3 miles an hour. They carry these little pedometers that measure how fast they're walking. They're not allowed to stop. They're not allowed to slow down. They're not allowed to fall off. They get 3 warnings. And if they don't pick up the pace and stick with the group after the 3rd warning, they're shot and they're killed. And that's how people are taken out of the race. And there can only be one winner. They get all the money. They get the bounty. They get to go home and take care of their families. And everyone else is going to be killed one by one. The thing that really sucked me in about this movie was the way they took something that is so competitive, their lives depend on it, and they showed the character building and the camaraderie between the people competing in this walk for their lives and how they work together to try to finish this task. And that's really all I want to say about it, because I don't want to ruin it. I want you to watch it. It's so good if you haven't seen it. You really get invested in these characters, and you're pulling for every one of them. And Cooper Hoffman plays the lead in this one, the son of the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he is fantastic in this. But if you haven't seen The Long Walk, I highly recommend it. It's really wonderful, and a lot of surprises in that one. I really did like that one. And this one is one that I've talked about also. It's an A24 film. It stars Sally Hawkins, Bring Her Back. And basically what we have is a young boy and his sister. Their names are Andy and Piper. They have found them, so their parents have passed away. They are now orphans, and they need to go into a foster home. So they are put into the foster home of Sally Hawkins. She's the mom. And there's another little guy there named Oliver, and she kind of keeps Oliver separate from the kids, and everything seems fine at first. She's very attentive. It seems like it's going to be a really great fit. They're doing fine. And the longer they're there, the stranger things seem, and the more they try to interact with Oliver, the weirder everything gets. And that's all I can really say about it without ruining it. All I can say is that the whole movie is, every time you turn around, there's a new surprise, twists and turns. Sally Hawkins is amazing in this movie. She is so good. She carries this movie. But really good stuff. And where this movie takes you, I never expected it to go. But it's really good. So Bring Her Back is one that you should definitely have on your list if you have not seen it. And the next one, this is a film from Ryan Coogler, and it stars Michael B. Jordan in both lead roles, and it is Sinners. And I have talked about this. I'm sure everyone's talked about it. It filled my timeline when it came out. Everyone's like, you have to see it. It's the best film of the year. I don't know if people still feel like that now, but very well received. And basically what we have is twin brothers, and they have been away in Chicago, and it's like during the pure Prohibition era. And they come back to their home in Mississippi, I believe it is. And people are like, why would you come back here? And they said, you know what? It's a devil we know. Our family's here. Our friends are here. And they want to open a juke joint. And they want to have fun. They want to have music. They want to have food. They want to serve alcohol. And they just want to have a good time. And that's the business that they want to run. So the first half of this movie can feel a little bit long because we're getting to know them. We're getting to know the characters. But then they have their opening night and things just, all hell breaks loose. And that's all I'm going to say. For those of you who haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it. This is so good. I would say it's definitely in the horror thriller category. I lean a little towards thriller because the beginning, but it's definitely, the second half of it is definitely all horror. It is so good. So if you haven't seen Sinners, definitely put it on your list to watch. It's a good one. There's a lot of horror and thrillers on this list. Now this next one, this is the ultimate unhinged movie. This is the most unhinged movie on this list. And it stars Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Luke Grimes, Michael Ward, Austin Butler, and Emma Stone. It's a film written and directed by Ari Aster and put out by A24. It is Eddington. And I know so many people love this. This takes place in a small town in New Mexico during 2020, the height of COVID here in the United States. And if you live through that, this is going to take you right back. And You have people that are trying to navigate this situation that was just something that it was unprecedented. We had never lived like this before. Everybody was afraid of everything. People were fighting over who should be wearing masks, who shouldn't be wearing masks. Should we be out in public? How far apart should we be? And that's all the stuff that's going on here. And Joaquin Phoenix plays the sheriff of the town. And he is very much a no masker. Nobody should have to worry about masks. We shouldn't have to worry about anything. Everybody's fine. Just do your thing. Everybody will be fine. Pedro Pascal plays the mayor, and he's kind of on the other side. He's like, listen, we have to keep people safe, the whole deal. So Joaquin Phoenix decides that he doesn't like what's going on, so he decides to run for mayor. And it's just the two are going at each other, and Joaquin Phoenix at one point just becomes totally unhinged. And that's all I can really tell you without ruining it, but it is such a fantastic movie. It's so good. It's a snapshot in time taken to the nth degree. It's just so good. And Joaquin Phoenix is phenomenal, as always, but he is phenomenal in this movie. And as you get towards the third act, he just becomes more and more and more unhinged. It's so good. If you haven't seen Eddington, put it on your list. Like I'm saying with all these, but put this high on your list because it is so good and you will not regret watching it. And the next one I have here is Weapons. And I know that this one can also be divisive. A lot of people said that they were really let down by this one. There was a lot of hype surrounding it before it came out. And I think that the problem with this one was in the marketing. I think it was marketed as it was going to be the scariest movie of the year. And that's really not what it is. It's more of a thriller mystery with horror elements. And I think if you go into it knowing that, you'll enjoy it a lot more than if you expect to have the life scared out of you, because that's probably not going to happen. Basically what we have is Julia Garner plays the lead, and she is an elementary school teacher. And one day she goes into her classroom and all the kids are gone with the exception of one. And no one in the town knows where these kids went. No one knows why they're gone. All they know is that they all have these video doorbells, and at the same time the night before, all the kids were seen running out of the house. They seemed to be like sleepwalking or unaware of what was going on, and they were all running in the same direction, and no one knows where they are, but they've never come back. And the whole first half of the movie, I would say almost the first 3/4 of the movie, is spent trying to figure out where these kids went, why they went, where they are, and how they can get them back. And it's kind of like a thriller mystery. And of course the town is blaming Julia Garner. They think she has to have something to do with it, and she's trying to prove her innocence, and all that's going on. And then in the third act, in the beginning of the third act, we have the introduction of a new character, and that just takes a story, flips it on its head, and that's where you have your horror story. The last act of the story is just straight up horror, and it totally blew me away. I thought this was a great movie. I thought it was great from beginning to end. And whenever I hear something say it's the scariest movie of the year, I never listen to that. So I went into this pretty blind, and I was not disappointed. So like I said, if you go into it thinking that it's going to be like a thriller mystery with horror elements, I think you're going to enjoy it a lot more than if you expect to, have the life scared out of you. But Weapons is a solid film, in my opinion. So that's why it had to make my list. And the last one before I get to the top 3, I don't have a physical copy of because it doesn't have one yet, but it's Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I'm going to try and put the poster up here. And I know this is another one that's divisive. A lot of people said, did we really need this? Did we not need it? Problems with it, this and that. Every movie has problems, but I, for one, really enjoyed it. I'm a huge fan of Guillermo del Toro, and yes, I know he likes to do his own thing, but you cannot deny the man makes beautiful, stunning movies, and this one is no different. It's his retelling of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, so it's a timepiece, and we start out, it's in 2 chapters, and the first chapter is told from the point of view of Victor Frankenstein, and it starts out where we're in this very snowy area, and this boat is stuck, and we see the monster coming, and the monster is absolutely terrifying. Victor Frankenstein is found badly injured, and they take him onto the boat, and the monster definitely wants to get at Victor Frankenstein and take him out. And Victor Frankenstein, as he's laying on this boat with the captain, he starts to tell his story of how the monster came to be, who he is, and why he may be looking for him. And that part, it's a long movie. I think it's about 2 hours and 40 minutes. That one chapter is extremely long, but I can tell you this, it is a beautifully shot movie. It is beautifully told. The costumes are gorgeous. The set design is gorgeous. The cinematography is beautiful. Everything about like the laboratory and everything that goes on with creating the monster, everything about it is so beautifully done. It's so Guillermo del Toro. I loved everything about it. But when they got to the second chapter, which is where we hear the story from the monster's point of view, or we see the story from the monster's point of view, I kind of looked at the runtime and I'm like, how are we going to get that much information out of the monster? And what I found is I really liked the monster's story. I loved seeing it from his perspective. I loved that there were nods to the originals that we know. And I really liked the story that they were telling, but I did feel like I wanted more time with the monster. I wanted to know more about him. I wanted to see more of him. But overall, I felt like it was just, I loved the movie. I really did. One of my complaints would be, other than it feeling like a little long and then a little rushed at the same time, if that makes sense, I felt like they maybe could have made better use of Mia Goth, because she's a very strong actor, and I think that she probably could have had more to add to the movie if it had been given to her. But otherwise I really don't have a lot of complaints. I really love the movie. I'm glad we have it. I can't wait to get it on physical, and that's why it had to make my top 10 of the year, because I really loved it and I can't wait to watch it again. So now moving on to the top 3. This first one in the number 3 spot, this is actually a remake, and I didn't know that when I went in to watch it, and it's from Yorgos Lanthimos. Yorgos Lanthimos? I always say his name wrong. I've said that before. Anyway, it stars Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, and it is Begonia. And this is a remake of I believe it's a Japanese movie called Saving the Green Planet. And Jesse Plemons plays a fella who he lives with his cousin, and I think his cousin is a little, maybe he's like a special needs guy, or he's a little slow in some areas, but Jesse Plemons is definitely in charge. And Jesse Plemons is convinced that his boss, played by Emma Stone, she's a CEO of this, I think, a gaming company, he is convinced she's an alien, and he convinces his cousin that they have to capture her, they have to kidnap her and hold her and find out what the plan is and find out how they can stop her and her people from destroying the planet. And that's the story arc that we follow. And I don't want to tell you any more about it, because this is definitely a movie that kept me guessing to the closing credits. It's really, really good. It's very well done. I loved all the characters. I thought it was very well acted, very well written. I haven't compared it to the original yet, but I was very impressed with this one. I loved every minute of it. So definitely put Begonia on your list if you have not seen it. And this one, I've talked about this one as well before, and I just love it. It had to be in my top 3. It almost made the top spot, but you'll see why it didn't. It's The Ugly Stepsister, and I have talked about this before. It was just announced it's getting a release from Second Sight, I believe either the end of January or the beginning of February. I can't wait. Day 1 order for me. This is a Norwegian body horror film, and basically what it is, it's loosely based on the tale of Cinderella. And this gal plays the stepsister. So it's a timepiece, and she has her sights set on one of the princes, and the prince feels like maybe she's not perfect, maybe there are some things can change about her, maybe she has a few pounds too much, and her mother convinces her to go through all these procedures, like cosmetic procedures, and at that time there wasn't anesthesia, so the procedures are absolutely brutal, and the body horror elements are brutal, and all the things she goes through to try to catch the attention of this prince are like, sometimes I had to look away. But the story is so good, the cinematography is beautiful, the costume design, the set design, everything about this is impeccable. I just loved every minute of it, with the exception of sometimes when I had to turn away. But if you're a body horror fan, you are going to love this. Please see The Ugly Stepsister. You can rent it on Prime, or like I said, you can pick it up when it comes out on Second Sight on physical in about a month. So The Ugly Stepsister is at number 2. And at number 1 should come as no surprise. I talked about it before. It is The Life of Chuck. And this is the second Stephen King adaptation on my list, the first being The Long Walk. And this one is written for the screen and directed by Mike Flanagan. And basically what this is we start out, and the first half hour, 20 minutes to a half hour of this movie is going to seem so weird. People are running around acting like the world is ending, the universe is ending, things aren't going right, places are shut down, electricity's going away, like everything is slowly just burning out and turning off, and it's basically people are waiting for the end of the world, but we don't know why. And there's this one poster or billboard that people keep seeing around. It's like, thanks Chuck, and thanks for 40 years, or whatever it says. Not that I've seen it 3 times and I can't remember what the poster says, but it's like, thanks Chuck for 40 great years or something like that. And everyone's like, who's Chuck? Who's this guy Chuck? And no one seems to know. And then at the end of that chapter, it just goes dark. And then we start the story and we rewind to back when this fellow, he was a little guy, he was a young boy, and we follow him through the journey that is his life until he's a grown man. And what we find out is this is a story about living a meaningful life, the meaning of life, the meaning of having a purposeful life, and what different people who come into our lives at different times, the lessons that they teach us, and how those lessons shape us into the person that we eventually become. And it's about finding the joy in the moments of life. And that's what I can tell you without ruining this. I can tell you this movie hit me hard in all the feels. I felt everything. I was in tears at the end of this movie. Some of it was hard for me, but some of it was really, really just because it was such a beautifully done movie. And I can't recommend the movie Life of Chuck enough. I wish I could tell you more, but I don't want to destroy it, because this is a wonderful, wonderful movie that you should just go in blind. And even if you have to watch it a second or a third time to put it all together, it is well worth it. It is so brilliantly crafted, and I loved every minute of it. And I'm going to watch it again tonight. That's how much I love it. So Life of Chuck is my favorite movie of 2025. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like my list. I hope you like my picks. Let me know down in the comments, what are your favorites? Tell me 5 favorites of 2025. Tell me your 10. I don't care. Tell me what you want to tell me. But I hope you enjoyed this. I want to thank everyone for clicking on this video. You know I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to do another best of, or favorites, not best of, but favorites, my favorites of 25. It'll probably be my favorite 25 releases. So that could be re-releases, new releases, whatever. But that'll probably be the next list that I do. And like I said, thank you for watching. That's going to do it for me today. So I'll definitely catch you in the next one. And for now, that's a wrap.